Did I know I wanted moldy nails until this very moment? No, I did not, but I'm here for it. Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I am partnering up with Cracked Polish to share their new Acquired Taste collection. The Acquired Taste collection launches this Friday, November 28th, which coincides with the brand's Black Friday sale. For Black Friday, Cracked Polish is going to have a 20% off site-wide sale, on top of the brand having 20% off site-wide. If you use my new handy dandy affiliate code, which is just Nicole Loves Nails, you can save an additional 10% on top of that 20% discount. I will talk more on their Black Friday sale towards the end of the video. The Acquired Taste collection features 8 polishes in a whole variety of finishes. If you are new to the brand, Cracked Polish is a US-based indie brand. Their polishes are in 15 ml bottles. They have an absolutely gorgeous brush, and their polish is also described as being 10-free, cruelty-free, as well as being vegan-friendly. Cracked Polish is one of the few indie brands that I would say is truly FOMO-free. Their polishes tend to stay around for quite a while. The products featured in today's video were sent to me by Cracked Polish, and today's video is also sponsored. Thank you so very much to Cracked Polish for sponsoring today's video. So as always, in the description box, I will have links to this brand's website, their social media pages, my social media pages, and most importantly, timestamps. And as per usual, I'll save all my final thoughts, feelings, sale information, and general chatter for the end of the video. Let's just get straight into this one. The first polish up is called Fermented, and the brand describes it as a dark red jelly base with a gold to green magnetic pigment. Fermented had a fantastic formula. Fermented was actually the first polish in this release that I tried, largely because I really love this brand's magnetic formula, so I wanted to try this one first, and I was not disappointed. I did not find that the base on this felt overly thick or thin. It had like the perfect consistency, and it self-leveled perfectly. I also found this magnetized super duper easily. I'm gonna call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on your own personal preference. While the third coat does deepen up the base color as well as adding a bit more opacity, I don't think you necessarily need to add the third coat. While the brand does describe this as having a gold to green magnetic pigment, I found on the nails I was seeing gold, green, blue, as well as like a hint of purple at extreme angles. This is super duper color shifty. Also, just a heads up, we're gonna have a mixture of studio lighting and natural lighting for all of my full hand swatches. Daylight saving time, or the lack thereof, is really kicking my butt as far as natural light shots go. My full hand swatch shows Fermented in 3 coats plus glossy top coat across all of my nails. My pointer finger and pinky show the polish unmagnetized, my middle nail shows it with the velvet effect, and my ring finger shows it with the cat eye effect. And again, this polish magnetizes super beautifully. I absolutely love this brand's magnetic formula. Nothing in here is going to dry down textured. I will still recommend glossy top coat because why would you walk around without glossy top coat? Polish also dries down a bit flat, so you will of course want top coat to bring some life back to it, but nothing here is going to be difficult to remove, and I did not personally experience staining, but as always, if you care about staining, I always recommend doubling up on your base coat. The next polish up is called Squashed, and the brand describes this one as a yellow jelly base with green shimmer. Squashed also had a fantastic formula. This one definitely is in the Prugly family. The base on here is this kind of like Prugly yellowy greenish kind of color. I feel like this type of color in particular is definitely skirting the line between being a Prugly, aka pretty ugly, or just plain ugly.
U-G-L-Y, she ain't got no alibi, she ugly.
Since this one is in a jelly base, largely the opacity you're getting is coming from the shimmer. I did find that when built up in 3 coats, I did still have some visible nail line with Squash. I don't personally mind visible nail line at all, so I absolutely love this shade. I did find that the shimmer in here is very strong. I did find this one to be a sneaky color shifting polish. On the nail, I was seeing the shimmer going from a green to a blue to purple with a hint of pink coming in at extreme angles, but the predominant color that you see on your nail is in fact going to be that green. I did find that the shimmer in here is of that kind of like glowy, almost sparkly kind of shimmer. It doesn't show any brush strokes, and because it's shimmer, it doesn't have any texture. I did opt to swatch this one out in 3 coats. I feel like if you want to go for a look that says you might need to be hospitalized, this polish in 1 coat could be the right thing for you, but I personally prefer this one in 3 coats. While I did not personally experience staining with this shade, I generally find for kind of yellowy greens in this kind of color family, they tend to be stainers on my natural nails, so I would recommend doubling up on base coat if you're concerned about that. And of course, removal is going to be super duper easy because it's a shimmer polish. The next polish up is called Gherkin, and Crack describes this one as a purple with a muddy green magnetic pigment and flecks of pink shimmers. Gherkin also had a fantastic formula, but this one was slightly on the thicker side. Because this one is on the thicker side, I did find it to be surprisingly opaque. If you don't want to magnetize the shade, you can for sure get away with only one coat. For my full hand swatches, it does show the polish in 2 coats, both magnetized and unmagnetized. And again, pointer finger and pinky are going to be unmagnetized. My middle nail is going to be the velvet effect, and my ring finger is going to be the cat eye effect. I feel like Monique must really like color shifty magnetic pigments, because once again, while the brand does describe this as being a green magnetic pigment, I once again found it to shift from a green to blue to purple. I don't rightly know what a Gherkin is. I probably should look it up, but I love the name of this polish. Again, I don't know what a Gherkin is, but like the name sounds ugly. Let me look that up actually.
A few moments later.
Oh, it's a pickle. Oh, Gherkin pickle. Oh, I feel like I knew that. Okay, ignore. Unmagnetized, this polish just looks green on your nail. You don't really see that purple base until you magnetize the shade. If you really want to see the purple base for this polish, I would actually recommend this one in the cat eye effect. I found with the velvet effect, it still was like predominantly green on my nails, but like the tone of green is very pruggly leaning. Now that I know that a Gherkin is in fact a pickle, I would not say this polish looks like a pickle, but I do feel like the magnetic pigment color in here does lean a bit in the kind of pruggly category. This magnetizes super duper easily, as I do find with all of this brand's magnetic shades. I did, however, find this polish does dry down very dull, so you will for sure want a glossy top coat to, you know, bring life back to the polish. But removal is not going to be overly difficult, and once again, I didn't have any issues with staining. The next polish up is called Caviar, and the brand describes this one as a black base with a fine green and purple shimmer. Caviar also had a fantastic formula. This one was a little bit on the thicker side, but I did find I was able to reach full opacity with it in 2 coats. The shimmer in here is very delicate. It's more of giving the polish dimension as opposed to, you know, giving you like a glowy, I'm gonna call this one kind of like a crelly shade, but I feel like it leans more towards the cream department than necessarily the crelly department. It doesn't have like a squish factor on the nail, but it has like a little bit less opacity than you would expect from a cream. I found that the shimmer in here, while it is visible, and I could easily see that green and purple shimmer, I did find that the shimmer in here is very delicate, so it adds more like dimension on the nail. But like from arm...
One eternity later.
While I could easily tell that there is in fact shimmer in this polish, the shimmer in here is very delicate, so it's more like the kind of shimmer that kind of adds dimension on the nail as opposed to like a boom in your face shimmer effect. From like arm's length away, it is going to read kind of like a black cream. I swatched Caviar out in 2 coats. This one is another one that does dry down a little bit dull, so you will want top coat for a nice glossy finish. The shimmer in here is not going to dry down textured, super easy to remove. You can definitely scrub this one off if you really wanted. The next polish up is the topper in the collection. It's called Make It Pretty, and the brand describes this one as a rose gold holographic glitter topper. Make It Pretty had a fantastic formula. Because this is in a clear base, you can use it over any color that you want. I did find that the glitters in here are super duper tiny, so they don't give off a strong amount of texture. You're still going to want like a little bit of top coat on top of this, but I did find that one layer of the cracked polished top coat smoothed this out perfectly. I am rather surprised that the brand is describing this one as a rose gold.
You sure about that?
When I had this one on, I thought it was just straight gold. I'm looking at it in the bottle right now, and I still feel like it's reading gold to my eyes. I generally expect my rose gold to be a bit more pinker leaning, and I don't find like this one has like any pink lean to it. I know a lot of folks are currently in the market for a gold holographic topper, and I feel like this one is going to be a really good one to have. It is super duper sparkly. That on top of getting like all like the fun holographic rainbows, you're also going to get kind of like a metallic-y gold look on the nail. So I feel like this is going to look fantastic over pretty much any color. For my full hand swatches, I'm showing Make It Pretty in 1 coat over a variety of colors. Because the glitters in here are super duper tiny, they're not going to be difficult to remove at all. I would dare say you probably don't need to soak this polish off if you didn't really want to. I, however, still will recommend soaking it off, because why are you scrubbing off your nail polish? But removal is not going to be too bad with this one. If you were hoping for something bright and fun in this release, this next polish is probably going to be for you. This next one is called Ginger Snap, and the brand describes it as a burnt orange with a golden glow. Ginger Snapped also had a fantastic formula. The shimmer in here is super duper glowy. I do agree with the brand's color description for this shade. It has a very warm orange base, and then you have a really strong glowy golden shimmer. The shimmer does not show any brush strokes. It's just like a really strong glowy effect. I do feel like this is a bit more orange toned than I would think of as like a ginger color, but I don't care because it's pretty and it's gold. I'm going to call this one another 2 to 3 coater depending on your own personal preference. For my full hand swatches, I am showing this one in 3 coats. My full hand swatches do show Ginger Snapped in 3 coats. However, I still will call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on your personal preference. For those of you who have significantly shorter nails than me, like if you don't have much of a free edge, you can definitely get away with 2 coats easy peasy. I did find that the third coat did bump this one up to reaching full opacity and deepen the base color just like a smidge. But if you don't have a free edge to speak of, it's not going to be as noticeable difference as it does for someone who have longer nails. And again, the shimmer here does not show any brush strokes. You just get like a ton of glow on your nail. Because this is a shimmer, it's going to be super duper easy to remove. Soak it off, scrub it off, peel it off, whatever, easy peasy. If you have been waiting for this collection to get real ugly, I present you Cream of Mushroom. The brand describes this one as a dark tan base with black flakies. Cream of Mushroom also had a fantastic formula. I would describe this one as having a bit more of a crelly leaning base, so it's sheer enough that you can see all those flakies, but it also reaches full opacity in only 2 coats. If you want more flakies on your nails, I would also suggest going in for 3 coats. For my full hand swatches, for whatever reason, I stopped in only 2 coats. I found on the nail, I think it's because of the black flakies in here, I feel like this has like a slight greenish undertone to it. Like it leans kind of greenish, and I feel like that adds to like the ugly factor. This does dry down slightly darker than it initially applies. Not so much that it looks drastically different from what you see in the bottle. It's just very, very slight. And I also do find that the black flakies in here do give the polish like a very slight texture. Again, 1 layer of top coat, smooth everything out perfectly, but they do dry down just like slightly textured, like flaky textured basically. This is definitely for the Prugly polish people, and those of you who don't like Prugly polishes, I need to know what you think of this. I feel like this kind of polish is the kind of thing that could get someone to like be like, maybe I don't hate Prugly polishes after all. Cream of Mushroom is going to be a 2 to 3 coater depending on how you feel about flakies. Again, I did find this one to be opaque in 2 coats, but if you want more flakies on your nails, I would recommend just throwing on that 3rd coat. Why I didn't do that, I don't know what Nicole the Fast was thinking. The flakies won't make removal overly difficult. I would still caution against scrubbing this one off. I feel like it's not going to be fun. It's going to be very messy if you do that. So once again, soak off method or a peel off base coat if you have one. And the final polish in this release is called Cranberry Mold. Name is great. The brand describes this one as a rogue blush base with a green to gold to pink flaky. This very much looks like cranberry mold. This is very aptly named. I really hope that the inspiration for this is actually like somebody's cranberry sauce got like a little bit moldy, and not that there's actually a holiday dish called cranberry mold. I would be very concerned why we would call it that. Once again, we had a fantastic formula, not too thick or thin, applied super easily and evenly. And once again, I will describe this one as being a 2 to 3 coater depending on your own personal preference. Admittedly, there isn't a massive difference between the 2nd coat and the 3rd coat. You do get a bit more depth in the base color and more flaky coverage with the 3rd coat, but you don't need to do the 3rd coat. The flakies do dry down just slightly textured, and again, I found 1 layer of top coat smoothed everything out perfectly for me. And I do agree with the brand's description for the flakies in here. I do disagree slightly with the brand's color description for the flakies. I found on the nail, to my eye at least, they looked like they were green to blue to purple, like a purpley pink color on the nail. This is another Prugly shade. We're gonna be honest now. This is definitely another Prugly shade, which I absolutely love. The predominant color of the flakies, however, is gonna be that green color. Like, this very much looks like moldy nails. Did I know I wanted moldy nails until this very moment? No, I did not, but I'm here for it. The flakies, again, do dry down just slightly textured, but I found 1 layer of top coat smoothed everything out really nicely for me. I would also recommend using the soak off method for this particular polish. I would not recommend scrubbing this one off. I feel like the flakies are going to make things a little bit hellish. Okie dokie, so final thought. When Monique, the brand owner, reached out to me about this release, I was very excited. Monique just said, hey, I know you love Prugly polishes. This is likely going to be the release for you. And Monique, you were correct. I love this release. My favorite releases tend to be releases that feature a variety of finishes. I always really like when a brand is able to release different like finishes within a collection and it still looks cohesive when you put everything side by side. And I feel like Monique did a fantastic job. I'm also very much here for any kind of weird textures and weird colors for nail polishes. And I feel like Monique did a really good job at having some kind of funky foods in here while also making a really pretty collection, even though there are quite a few Prugly polishes in this release. As far as my own personal top pick from this release, 1000% it is going to be Cream of Mushroom. I'm sure you all know by now, I absolutely love Prugly polishes, and that one is just so like funky and weird. I am a massive fan of Crellies. I am a massive fan of Prugly weirdness nail polishes, and Cream of Mushroom definitely hit that category for me personally. I also want to give an honorable mention to Fermented. If you've watched some of my past monthly wrap-ups, you might remember me rambling on and on about how much I love the cracked polish magnetic formula. The color shifty goodness that is Fermented, I can't not include that as my top pick, but overall I thought this release was fantastic, and again, I really like weird food themed nail polishes. As far as pricing and sale information goes, all of the polishes in this release are going to be priced at $13. You can pick up all 8 polishes for a discounted bundle of $91. The collection goes on sale November 28th at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and this release is not limited edition. Again, like I said earlier, Cracked Polish is one of those brands that is very FOMO free. They keep things around for quite a while, and they do restock things if anything does sell out. On top of this release, Cracked Polish is also doing a site-wide Black Friday sale of 20% off everything on the website. My affiliate code, Nicole Loves Nails, will be live for this sale, and that will give you an additional 10%, bringing a total savings of 30% off site-wide. The Black Friday sale is going to end December 1st at 11:59 Pacific time, which is going to be technically the second at 2 a.m. Eastern time. The brand did also send me over their base coat and top coats. So for all of my swatches, I did use their quick dry top coat, and I alternated between their sticky base coat and their ridge filling base coat. I can't speak on wear time for the base coats because I don't wear anything long enough to count as wear time. Plus I also have an overlay, and that's kind of like cheating as far as wear time goes. But I will say I did really like how these applied, and the top coat does dry very quickly. I really like the top coat quite a bit. The top coat does not have any toluene in it, so for those of you who want a really good top coat to use with magnetics, I would recommend this one. I did use it for my swatches for this release. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release. Are you planning on picking up? Have you tried cracked polish in the past? If so, what has been your favorite polish? Before we end today's video, I do want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Shenanigans, Story fans, your names of course all on the screen right now. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there is of course a link for that in the description box, or you can click join next to the subscribe button. Channel members, we do have a live stream happening this Friday, so just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely week, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. But from like arm's length away, this is going to read as like a black Sassy's enemy is walking by. That's what all this is about. My dog has beef with a 4-pound floofy dog.